Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got another list video for you today, like I did at Christmas when I did the top 5 Christmas films of my choosing. This time, as we've got Dumbo coming out later on this week, as well as obviously all the live action remakes we've got this year, let alone the ones I've already done, I thought I'd go back through for the original Disney classics and kind of rank my top 5 out of those. Now there is a lot, there is over 50 of these films. I've not seen all of them, and obviously my tastes are going to very much different for other people's, whether they women, whether they black, white, Asian, whatever. Everyone's going to have their own thing, depending when they're born. Obviously you're going to grow up with certain other films, so it's very, very subjective list. So obviously my list might not agree with yours, but hell, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to start off my top 5 list with my number 5, which is Hercules. This came out in 1997. I was about 11 years old when this came out, so I was kind of in the prime of really enjoying this film. I really enjoy it because it's a little different to most Disney films, especially when it comes to Meg, who's the kind of main female protagonist. She's not your usual bright-eyed, whimsical, everything's lovely, not a damsel in distress. She kind of said very much from the start she doesn't need saving. So I think her characterization is really good, something really refreshing. As well, because Tarzan came out I think just afterwards. It kind of went back to the sort of damsel in distress with the character of Jane. James Woods as Hades is really good. He's so funny. He really kind of breaks the fourth wall. He's a very sort of quippy, which I really like. The two little minions that he's got with Panic and Pain, they're really good. Their back and forth is quite fun. It's a little slapstick, but it kind of works through the film, as well as Danny DeVito as Phil, the trainer. He's really funny. He kind of throws a lot of jokes in. It's a very sort of meta film, although it's obviously set back in ancient Greece, and I think the muses who do majority of the songs are really good. They're really good. Their songs are really catchy, especially kind of the main sort of song that they do. I'm not going to sing it, don't worry. And I really like it. Obviously, the problem with Hercules, I think, it kind of gets forgotten because a lot of people have done the story of Hercules before Disney and after Disney. It's not something that's really exclusive to them, but I think their version of it is really good and I really enjoyed it, so it's something I would definitely recommend. Anyway, moving on to my number 4, which is number 4 is Moana. This is probably the most recent film that I've got on my list. It's more not kind of moved away well past the 2D animation that Disney were kind of so renowned for doing, more the 3D animation that a lot of people associate with more Pixar than Disney. But this really kind of captured kind of the spirit of the old Disney. Again, Moana is not your standard princess character that you've kind of known from the classic Disney. She's very much her own character. She's got her own goals. She'll kind of more of a go-getter, will go get what she wants. She doesn't really need saving. There's a couple of points when she does, but I think the songs are really good in this as well. The Rock, especially, or Dwayne Johnson, who plays Maui, the kind of demigod. Your Welcome song, I think, is really catchy. It's really good. He's really funny. He really exudes his usual rock charisma, which comes through even in the 2D animation, 3D animation. Again, I think the visuals in this are really stunning as well. The use of the water, the sort of mystical elements to it. The main sort of problem, there's no real sort of antagonist to this film. You can argue Maui is a little bit, because obviously he steals the stone at the start, but he's not really, so there's no kind of really main attachment apart from obviously just Mother Nature. Obviously don't harm the water, but again, the characterization is really good. I really like Moana. I love her character. There's good comic relief when it comes to the chicken. It's a little weird because he kind of seems a bit stupid, but it's still really good. The Rock's great in it, so it's definitely another one I would recommend highly for you. Anyway, so moving on to number 3. So number 3 is Beauty and the Beast. This was a massive hit when this came out, right in that sort of 90s sort of renaissance for Disney when they had some really big hits. Beauty and the Beast is a story you all know. I guarantee it's one that everybody has seen. Everybody grew up watching this film, especially from my generation. I really like the message of the film, which is it's not about the sort of face beauty that you see. It's about what's inside that counts, and trying to look beyond sort of the facade of, don't judge a book by its cover. Essentially, this just turns out to be lucky the prince happens to be some handsome dude at the end. She lucked out. Well done, Belle. But the side characters, I think, really make this film, from Cogsworth to Lumiere to Mrs. Potts to Chip, everybody in the film kind of really brings it. The songs in this are amazing as well. They're timeless because they're still sung now. Even with the live action version, they were still kind of resonated, kind of give you those nostalgic feels as well. Everything about this film is really good. I really love Gaston as well. He's a great villain in the film, who's something that, especially if you watch on today's society with this Me Too movement, kind of really resonates now. I'm sure Disney didn't know that back in the mid-90s when they made this film. But it's really good. It's a classic. It's one that a lot of people have grown up with, so it's definitely one that, with me, although it's not really aimed at me probably because it's obviously much more of a princess girls movie, but I still really enjoy it. I still think the songs are great, so I definitely think it's something you should definitely watch if you haven't seen it, but you probably already have. Anyway, so moving on to number 2. So number 2 is Aladdin. This was very much aimed at me when I was growing up. This is a really timeless tale. This is definitely made and really resonates because of the genie from Robin Williams. It's one of his most iconic role, maybe his most iconic role, especially in animation. He did a few animations, I know he did Ferngully and a few other bits, but this is kind of his really standpoint, and he just makes this film, he just ad-libs so much. There is apparently hours and hours and hours of audio recording of him just in the booth, just reading off lines, ad-libbing. And he really, really makes this film. He really elevates it from a good movie to a fantastic, great movie. Everyone else as well. Jafar's a great villain. My only sort of qualm with him, he doesn't get his own song. He actually gets a little bit of a rendition of Prince Ali when he kind of acts Aladdin as not being Prince Ali. But he doesn't get his own song, which is a bit of a bummer because I would love him to get a villain song. But everybody else inside this is amazing. Aladdin's great. I love Jasmine. I think she's a really good character. But it's just the genie that really elevates this film beyond a good movie to a great film. It's definitely something you should go back. I would love to hear the hours of recordings that he did, just to reminisce of Robin Williams, because he was a legend of his time, and this was definitely one of his big standout roles. So he's truly missed. And Aladdin was something that really hit me when I was young, and really kind of, I've watched it hundreds and hundreds of times. I almost recite the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to live action things to see what they're going to do with that later on this year. But again, Aladdin is my number 2, so you can probably guess what's coming, but my number 1 is The Lion King. Obviously, I think this would probably rank number 1, if not in the top 2 of nearly everybody's film. This film breaks down every barrier. This is not aimed at boys, this is not aimed at girls, this is aimed at everybody. This film is amazing for a very short film. It's only about an hour and 20 minutes, but it's just so grand and epic, really just opening up the world of Africa and the cultures, and the songs are amazing in it. Scar's song, the Just Can't Wait to Be King, spoilers, the Mufasa death really hit me when I was young. That just destroyed me, and to this day, even when I watch it, I still get a little bit sad, like, oh, Mufasa died, although I know what's going to happen. But it's from start to finish, it's almost flawless. Timon and Pumbaa, when they come in, really elevate the film, because it's at its lowest, darkest point just after Mufasa dies, and Timon and Pumbaa come in and bring the film back up to the usual sort of Disney whimsicalness. That's it, but it's so good. There's not much I can say about it rather than just gloating how great the film is. The songs are timeless and amazing. The visuals on it as well. The characterization of a lot of the characters. There's some obviously elements that have not aged particularly well. There's a part during the Be Prepared that's kind of very sort of military Nazi-esque, which is a bit of and where did he get his name Scar? Was he born with a scar? Did he? Oh, anyway, no mind. But yeah, this film is just mind-blowing. Interesting fact that this was actually being made at the same time as Pocahontas, but Disney put their A team on the Pocahontas project and put their B team on The Lion King. The Lion King is now the highest grossing 2D animated film of all time. Pocahontas was okay. So that tells you how much faith Disney maybe didn't have at this at the start, but now it's very much their kind of champion film. Obviously, we've got the live action version later on this year as well, which I'm very, very excited to see what they do with that one. Anyway, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements. Sure there will be some agreements. Thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.